The Chinese New Year, we kind of discussed some of the contents, and we are talking about dependent origination. So let's move on to the slide. Okay, so if you look at the right diagram, on the right side, the diagram, maybe just to briefly recap for those as we have a few weeks of break, then we kind of refresh ourselves, what have we been going through. So the entire chart on the right is the 12 links of dependent origination. So from the top you have ignorance, that's number 1. Then number 2 you have fabrication or mental formations. Then number 3, consciousness. Number 4, name and form. Number 5, 6 sense media. And number 6 is contact. Number 7, feeling. Number 8, craving. Number 9, clinging. Number 10, becoming. Number 11, birth. And number 12, aging and death. So the sequence in this manner, we call it the forward order. So because of ignorance, conditions fabrication, fabrication conditions consciousness, consciousness condition name and form, so on and so forth. So it's like a chain reaction. So the whole mass of suffering is because we have this ignorance. And the number 1 point, from the starting point, because of ignorance, then that's why we experience birth, aging and death. So in terms of Four Noble Truths, we say the first noble truth is suffering. So suffering is actually clinging, becoming, birth, death. So that's the last 4 of the 12 links. So that's the first noble truth. And then you have the second noble truth, which is the cause of suffering, which is craving. Right before clinging, craving. So that's the second noble truth. So that's what we normally think, right, in the Four Noble Truth model. And the third noble truth is there is an end to suffering. And the fourth noble truth is actually the Noble Eightfold Path leading to end of suffering. So how to break free from these 12 links is to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. So usually in the other suttas on dependent origination, you kind of need to know the entire sequence or the cognitive process that use the 12 sequence and the 12 links to experience the world. So things like consciousness, 6 sense media and contact and feeling. So all these are our sense impression. When we see, hear, smell, think, taste and touch. Maybe I briefly go through again. So number 1, ignorance. That is, as long as we are not fully enlightened, as long as we are not an Arahant, we are not a Buddha, we will have ignorance. So ignorance means not totally understanding the Four Noble Truths. So this is the number 1. Then number 2 is fabrication, mental formation. So all of us have mental formations. The moment we are thinking, the moment we are trying to plan something, we're trying to figure out what I'm saying. So that is fabrication, mental formation. Then number 3 is consciousness. So consciousness means something like your awareness. You're aware of your eye, your ear, your nose, your tongue, body and mind. So then the next one, name and form. You need your consciousness to operate with physical matter also, mind and matter or name and form. And how does it operate? The next one, 6 sense media. That means your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So how can our awareness arise? Our consciousness arise is through our 6 senses. Excuse me. Yeah, so you have a six sense basis. So normally they will say dependent or depending on your one of your sense organs, let's say your eyes, and dependent on the external form, let's say the screen in front of you, the words and the screen in front of you, then eye consciousness arise. That means the awareness of the eyes appear only dependent on what you see, the object and your eye organ. Yeah? So this is the idea of the six sense media and your sense consciousness. Okay, then the meeting of all these things is called contact. The meeting of your eye, the meeting of the screen, the meeting of your eye consciousness is called contact. That means you're paying attention. You're paying attention. Yeah? So right now, there are 1,001 things going on, but you cannot pay attention to all of them at the same time. Agree? Only when you zoom into one thing, then we call it contact. So the common example is I give, right now, you may not be paying attention to your heart beating. But only when I mention your heart beating, then you pay attention to your heart beating. Right? So this is called contact. Contact to the body consciousness, the nervous system. So this is called contact. So after contact, you arise feeling. Whether you find it pleasant, you find it unpleasant, or you find it neutral. So it's called feeling. And once you have these three feelings, or any of these three feelings, the untrained person, that means a person who is never learned any meditation technique or doesn't know the proper technique, they'll react with craving, greed, anger, or delusion. So if a person experiences a pleasant feeling, they'll react with greed. They want some more. So nice, very shook, I want some more. So they react with greed. They want to chase after this pleasant feeling. And if let's say the feeling is unpleasant, very painful, very uncomfortable, and a person may react with anger. They want to fight the painful feeling. They want to destroy, want to get rid of the painful feeling. So this is reacting with aversion. And the third one is reacting with I would say delusion. So if a person has a neutral feeling, then everything is okay. Just for example in meditation, very quiet, just stay there, don't do anything. So it's a kind of delusion, neutral feeling. So there's no kind of like intention to break free, and just aware, just be aware of the quietness. So there's no intention to contemplate on impermanence to break free. So that is reacting with craving, delusion. Okay, then the next one is clinging. So when a person has craving, it will lead to this addiction or attachment. So we call this clinging. It can be any kind of craving. It can be any kind of emotion. Things like anger. And then people might be wondering, how come I can get angry the whole day? Or frustrated the whole day? Because of clinging. It's an addiction. Or some people feel upset the whole day because of clinging. So any kind of reaction, if there is no stronger positive emotion, or even if it's a positive emotion, you can do that the whole day. So if let's say a person cling to good deeds, for example metta, so it's a form of clinging also, a positive clinging. Okay, then the next one is called becoming. So you become that character, you become that person. So if a person reacting with clinging to anger, then you become like a hell being. You become like a demon. So a person is radiating loving kindness, then they become like a heavenly being, become like a Brahma. Okay, then the next one is birth, aging, and death. So birth, aging, and death is the story or the narrative that you produce in the mind. So for instance, if a person gets angry of an incident, they picture out the scenario in the mind, play out the scenario in the mind over and over again because of clinging. Then they become that character, and that character will go through birth, aging, and death in that scenario. So they replay over and over again, birth, aging, and death. So this is in the mental, simulated samsara in the mind. Right? So this is the practical here and now, dependent origination, the 12 links. The more common explanation of dependent origination, or the one used in most educational institutions, they will kind of break it down into like 3 different lifetimes. 3 different lifetimes. So let's look at the last 2, birth, aging, and death. So birth, aging, and death is considered one lifetime. So after a person die, how? Not yet enlightened, they get reborn. So then let's go back to number 1, ignorance. Because of not yet enlightened, they have ignorance, and then you lead to number 2, based on their mental fabrication or karmic formations. So fabrication is also the same as karmic formations. So this karma, this good or bad karma, will lead them to a new body. So they say the consciousness will travel and go to this, like for example, a womb. So the womb is the name and form. So the name is the mind, which is the consciousness, and the form is actually the womb, the fetus. Go into the womb. So the process of this so-called consciousness, like traveling, like in a split second or in a split moment of time, is another lifetime, the intermediate state, something like that. So that's the second life. So in the womb, name and form is born. The name and form is there. Then the 6 sense media, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind will slowly develop in the womb and develop contact. They'll develop feeling, craving, clinging, becoming, and then birth again. So the entire womb, the process is like, you cannot practice like that. It's like in the womb. Okay, so anyway, we call it the 3 lifetime model. The 3 lifetime model. So birth again is delivery. When the mother gives birth to the child during the labor, and then that being, the child will go through this birth, aging, sickness, death. So we call this the 3 lifetime model. So that is the conventional explanation. Normally it's trying to rationalize dependent origination with karma and rebirth. Whereas I would try to separate karma, rebirth is one thing, dependent origination is more on the moment-to-moment mental attachment and detachment process. So it's actually not really the same thing. Okay, but in this sutta, if you find that whatever I explained earlier is too profound, too deep, and you don't understand, this sutta is making things easy for your life, because you don't have to know the entire process which I said earlier. So this sutta, Venerable Sariputta, you need to know 2 links will do. 2 things will do. So in the previous session, the Venerable Sariputta started off with the number 12 link, and they go upwards. So for example, aging and death. You just need to know aging and death, that's all. So that is suffering. And the cause of suffering is birth, which is the link above aging and death. And the third noble truth, there is an end to aging and death. And the 4th noble truth is the Noble Eightfold Path. And so on and so forth. Then the audience requested Venerable Sariputta to ask how to explain this right view again in a different manner. Then Venerable Sariputta will say, okay, now take birth as the first noble truth, as suffering. Birth is the first noble truth, and then the cause of suffering is becoming, which is the link before that. And the 3rd and 4th noble truth is the same. You can end the birth, and the 4th noble truth is the Noble Eightfold Path. So it's repeating the entire cycle. The whole chain of sequence is repeating over and over again. So now we're at this point at clinging, which is the 4th from the bottom. Okay, so I'll just read out. Saying, good friend, having delighted in and approved of Venerable Sariputta's words, the monks asked him a further question. Would there be another line of reasoning by which a disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma? Okay, next slide. There would, when a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns clinging, the origination of clinging, the cessation of clinging, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging, then he is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Right? So if you look at this paragraph, it's always in the Four Noble Truth format. Yeah. So a person, when a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns clinging, so this is the first Noble Truth. And the origination of clinging, that's the second Noble Truth. The cessation of clinging, the third Noble Truth. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving, that's the fourth Noble Truth. So the entire series is just talking about this, the Four Noble Truth format, apply in all situations. So now he's going to explain what is this first Noble Truth of clinging. And what is clinging? What is the origination of clinging? What is the cessation of clinging? What is the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging? He's trying to explain all the 4 points. Okay, next. Okay, there are these 4 clingings. Sensuality clinging, view clinging, precept and practice clinging, and doctrine of self clinging. This is called clinging. So a person can cling to a few things. So the first one is sensuality clinging, which is I think pretty straightforward. All the enjoyment in your senses, so that's sensuality clinging. Excuse me. And view clinging is cling to a certain view. Things like maybe can be a wrong view. For example, now got a lot of war going on, right? So in the Sutta, the soldiers asked the Buddha, they believe that killing, if you go to war, you fight and kill your enemy, you can go to heaven. So that is a kind of view. So the Buddha said, no, no, not. He won't go to heaven. You kill somebody, go to hell. That's the Buddha's answer. So some people have certain view clinging. They believe certain thing is true and they carry out these actions. Then the next one, precept and practice clinging. So this a lot of people translate it to rites and ritual. So actually also precept and practice. So the be it precept, practice, observance, rites, ritual, ceremony, whatever it is, if the more you practice, your greed and anger increase, then something is wrong. So we call this not so good clinging. But whatever you do, you practice, your greed and anger reduce, your wholesome qualities increase, then this is a good practice. Right? So this precept and practice clinging. So some people can claim to observe a lot of things. It can be vegetarianism, can be certain time in the calendar, lunar calendar, certain new full moon, do certain things. Then if their behavior don't improve, then we call this wrong clinging, clinging to rites and ritual and practices. Okay, then the next one, doctrine and self-clinging. Doctrine means the teachings. Self-clinging means the sense of I, sense of me, sense of mine. So if a person cling to the me and the mind, or clinging to any teaching, if it doesn't make you improve your character, then it's bad clinging, wrong kind of clinging. Okay, so this is called clinging. And the second point, from the origination of clinging comes the origination, from the origination of craving comes the origination of clinging. So back to the dependent origination, the cause for clinging is craving. From the cessation of craving comes the cessation of clinging. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging is just this very noble eightfold path. Right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So the Four Noble Truths is explained down here. Okay, next slide. Now, when a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns clinging, the origination of clinging, the cessation of clinging, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of clinging in this way, when having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession I am, having abandoned ignorance and given rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to suffering and stress right in the here and now. It is to this extent too, a disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Okay, so in this sutta, the right view here is the Arahant right view, not the Sotapanna right view, not the stream enterers right view. So the key word here, abolished passion and aversion obsession, uprooted view and conceit obsession of I am, sense of self, totally removed, abandoned ignorance. So all these factors only an Arahant can overcome. So you need to abandon all these, then it's considered the true Dhamma, the end goal already. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we've explained clinging, so now we're going on to craving. Right, so we're kind of like halfway there or close to halfway. Saying, good friend, having delighted in and approved of Venerable Sariputta's words, the monks asked him a further question. Would there be another line of reasoning by which a disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma? Right, so this is the next set on craving. So actually you just need to know one set will do. Any of the 12 links, if you do not, you cannot comprehend the entire sequence, or you cannot memorize the entire sequence, the 12 links, you just need to know one link. And the cause of the suffering is the one link before that. So basically you need to know 2 links will do. And that's it. Because in practice, you just need to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Whether you know the 12 links or how many different states of mind or consciousness in Abhidhamma, all the different things, not too important. The main thing is to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path. So that's the path leading to the end of all the suffering. Okay, next slide. Okay, there would, when a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns craving, origination of craving, the cessation of craving, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving. So again, same format, Four Noble Truth format. So this one, the first Noble Truth, the discerns craving. That's the first Noble Truth. Second Noble Truth, origination of craving. Third Noble Truth, cessation of craving. And the fourth Noble Truth, practice leading to the cessation of craving. So the same format. And what is craving? What is origination of craving? What is the cessation of craving? What is the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving? Okay, next. Okay, so this one, a bit more specific. 6 kinds of craving. Craving for forms, that means whatever you see. Craving for sounds, whatever you hear. Craving for smells. Craving for tastes. Craving for tactile sensations. Craving for ideas. that means your thoughts. This is called craving. Yeah, so again, it can be greed, anger, or delusion for these 6 things. From the origination of feeling comes the origination of craving. Yeah, so feeling comes before craving. So if you want to understand origination of craving, then you need to understand feeling. From the cessation of feeling comes the cessation of craving. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of craving is just this very noble eightfold path: right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So you need the noble eightfold path to cease right from the top, from ignorance all the way down. But of course you don't need to know all the 12 links, you just need to know 2. Right, so today we just cover here for today, and don't want to be too heavy, some people cannot take it. So we're going to open the floor to Q&A. Any questions on the ground? Oh yes, Happy have a question.
Again, I like to ask about the clinging on metta, the one you said, the positive clinging.
Yep.
And can you elaborate more about this thing?
Okay. So when a person, let's say they cling to any strong, wholesome state, even like concentration, if we call this form and formless becoming. So a person can be reborn in like a Brahma world.
So this means they're clinging more into like good, positive.
Yeah, so that's a good kind of clinging. Yeah.
Oh, like wholesome clinging.
Yeah, wholesome clinging.
Oh, okay. But it still can be considered clinging because it cannot reach nibbana, right?
Yeah, it doesn't reach nibbana, but it's a stepping stone. It's a much better conducive state rather than the unwholesome clinging.
Okay. So this means like it does have the degree of level what is wholesome and unwholesome.
Yeah, so the wholesomeness and unwholesomeness will like make things easier or more difficult for your practice.
Okay. And Ajahn, another question I like to ask is like, because we know like in this spiritual path you need to have like good kalyanamitta. But it's like the whole journey. If you have a kalyanamitta, it's really encouraging. But I just want to know like, what is the sign of the true kalyanamitta that are not clinging? The true sign of kalyanamitta, they are not clinging. They are not.
As in attachment to the kalyanamitas.
Like the true noble friend that are not clinging, like attachment.
Oh, okay. That means
they are,
how good are they?
Not how good are they, but the true kalyanamitta, they are not based on the clinging.
True kalyanamitas. Okay, so minimum they need to at least observe their precepts well. There's some, I would say, some right view. They have interest in Dhamma discussion in how to apply the teachings or the precepts in your daily life. So minimum is this, because you need to converse with them. And of course, you need to look up to them. So make sure their behavior or their practice is inspirational.
Inspirational, yeah. Okay. So inspirational. So like when a group of people, they are flocked together because of at first like we can see they flock together because of the same compassion side, but when it tends to get into emotional side, like for example they become clinging to the emotional side, like foundation, rather than compassion and wisdom. Are they called clinging?
Yeah, it can be happen like any point of time in our practice. Sometimes pleasant or good or bad, unwholesome states of mind will arise at any point of time. So it's the good point. If let's say we have real Kalyana Mittas, is to remind us. Say they will tell us, "Hey, I think something is wrong with you. How come are you okay? You feel upset the whole day or angry the whole day?" So they will kind of remind you to walk back to the middle path.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Any other questions?
Can I ask one question?
Okay, sure.
Bante.
Yes.
Sorry.
We find a comfortable sitting posture. Make sure your back is upright and the rest of the body relaxed. Okay, the first thing we are doing is the impurities of the body meditation. So it's to learn to let go of the body. So we're doing a bit of visualization. So first is like all the hairs, visualize all the hairs from head to toe. So when we just so-called seeing and seeing, visualize the hair by itself, most people will be like, have craving and clinging to the hair one. If let's say you find your hair beautiful, you like your hair, you like this fashion, then you react with greed, so we have clinging to the hair. And if we find that our hair very untidy, very messy, we don't like the fashion, then we react with anger. So mainly greed or anger. So what we are doing, if you want to proactively heighten the mind or free ourselves, so first we apply the right thought. We wish the hairs well and happy. Thoughts of non-aversion. So every time you think of an image of a hair, then you wish it well and happy. That's part of the right thought. And once you finish the sentence, then we move on to a new patch of hair and wish it well and happy. So this repetition, we call it right effort. Because once you stop and let the mind idle for more than 2 seconds, confirm cling to something else, cling to some other stray thoughts. The mind very fantastic in producing a lot of stories. So we actively engage the mind, keep on wishing the hairs well and happy. You finish the sentence, move on a new patch of hair, wish it well and happy. And the more you keep on wishing the hairs well and happy, you're applying the Eightfold Path, you have the right thought, right effort, everything. You're reducing craving little by little. Then you see how far can the mind settle down, calm down. And you find the mind quite settled down, like to its maximum limit, cannot settle any further. Then we reduce the other craving, which is greed. So just now we reduce aversion by wishing the hair well and happy. So how to reduce greed? We're going to think of impermanence. All the hairs go through birth, aging, sickness, death. So you think of them growing and falling, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also need to mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or we can mentally recite rising and passing. So if the more you meditate, there's more hindrances, more drowsiness, more greed, more anger, and that is wrong clinging. But the more you meditate, the more lighter, more joyful, more peaceful, then that is the sign of detachment. Okay, then we can ask ourselves, are these hairs truly self? Can we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death? And the next part of the body, we can think of the nails, fingernails and toenails, and we wish them well and happy. And all these nails go through birth, aging, sickness, death. So you think of them growing and falling many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also need to mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. Then we can ask ourselves, are these nails truly self? Can we tell the nails not to go through birth and death? So the next part of the body, we can think of the teeth, all the teeth inside the mouth, and we wish them well and happy. And all these teeth go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So we think of the teeth growing and falling many cycles. Even though the teeth fall out the most twice, we just keep on repeating. This is just a mental detachment exercise. And as we keep on looping this image, we mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. Okay, and we can ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth not to go through birth and death? And the next part of the body, we can think of the skin. From head to toe, we wish all the skin well and happy. And all this skin are subject to birth, aging, sickness, death. So you think of the skin growing and falling, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. Okay, then we can use the Four Noble Truths to understand based on what we go through in theory today. As long as we think of impermanence, that's part of right thought. We repeat, that's part of right effort. So that's the Fourth Noble Truth. If we reduce the craving, which is the Third Noble Truth, but as long as we stop applying the Eightfold Path, then the first two Noble Truths will take over, the suffering and the cause of suffering. And we can ask ourselves, are the skin truly self? Can we tell the skin not to go through birth and death? So the next phase of meditation, we are going to familiarize ourselves with the four element sensations, so there's no need to visualize anything. We just need to feel. So the four elements are the earth, fire, wind, water. Earth represents any hard or soft sensations. Fire is any hot and cold sensations. Wind is any fast, slow movements. And water is the moist or dry sensations. So there's no need to control them, don't have to purposely create them, let them appear naturally by themselves. Whatever sensation appear, we just wish them well and happy. It's a bit like customer service, huh? Whatever sensation appear, we just greet them, wish them well and happy. New sensation appear, well and happy. New sensation appear, well and happy. Okay, and if let's say the mind is settled down to this neutral baseline state, cannot settle any further, then we take note of this neutral state for your reference point. And remember how it's like. And now we are going to cultivate boundless loving kindness. So we are going to wish, may all beings in all directions, may they be well and happy. Above, below, and all across, may all beings be well and happy. So no need to visualize how they look. We perceive all beings as the four elements. So whatever sensation appear, we keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. Okay, and if the conditions are right, keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. You have the right thought, right effort, everything. Then this loving kindness may lead one to the first level of concentration, indicated by some increment in joy and happiness compared to the neutral baseline state from earlier. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. And now we move on to the insight portion. We're going to think of impermanence. Whatever sensation appear, we just think of rising and passing to reduce the clinging. Okay, and if the joy of detachment start to disappear, one may experience a strong neutral feeling, more alert, more refreshing, so we call that equanimity. And regardless of what you experience, keep on reciting, rising and passing. Okay, next we move on to the next sublime state, which is compassion. So for compassion, we are going to wish may all beings be free from suffering. Using the same non-discrimination approach, any element appear, we are going to wish may all beings be free from suffering. Don't have to imagine any story. Once you imagine any scenario, that's already clinging birth, aging, sickness, and death of the story. So he proactively keep on wishing, may all beings be free from suffering. And if the conditions are right, keep on wishing, may all beings be free from suffering. Then this compassion may lead one to the second level of concentration, also indicated by some joy and happiness. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing, may all beings be free from suffering. And now we move on to the insight portion, how to reduce the clinging. We need to keep on reciting, rising and passing. Practice true compassion, overcome suffering. Any sensation appear, rising and passing. And if the joy of detachment starts to disappear, instead of the strong neutral emotion from earlier, this time around it should feel more blank. So the blank and spaciousness, the combination of compassion and insight may lead one to this perception of infinite space. And regardless of what you experience, keep on reciting, rising and passing. Okay, and before we conclude the session, same gentle reminder in all your activities, whether you're standing, sitting, walking, or lying down, you can be mindful of impermanence or mindful of the sublime states. And with that, we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session, informally generate right thought. Okay, any problems or questions from anyone?
Bante, I'd like
Yes.
to clarify when we contemplate the birth, aging, sickness, and death, right? Must be this forward, or we can just think of birth and death two words.
Also can. Birth and death also can, yes.
Oh, so can whichever we feel more comfortable for us.
Yes, as long as there's an obvious change.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else? If not, then we move on to the closing chant. So we have a volunteer to chant. I think Susan has volunteered herself.
I thought Sister Jugang want to help too. Sister Jugang, you want to chant?
Okay. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasanang ettavata cha amhehi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe bhuta sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hantu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hantu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hantu nyatayo. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, sadhu. So we pay respects to the Buddha by bowing 3 times. First bow, second bow, third bow. Okay, any announcements from Terence?
No, Bante.
No, okay, then if not, then we see you next week, next lesson. Right, good night.
Good night.
Okay,
Thank you,
good
Bante.
night.
Thank you,
Good
Bante.
night.
Thank you, Bante.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Good night.
Bante. Bye-bye.